On Wednesday night, we talked a little bit about how we have the capability to do several things at once with the NORD, whereas we didn't have that ability before. So let's look really quickly at that. We have all of these things that are pre-programmed into the keyboard that the manufacturer provided for us. Harpsichord, all kinds of electric pianos, anything you can think of really. But we also have the option of making something of our own or just playing something that we like. So over here, this is largely used, this is the synthesizer. So if I wanted to turn it off, the on and off is here. Okay. If I wanted to use a piano, I could just turn that on and off here. So it automatically goes to the first kind of most common grand piano that everybody likes. I could also make changes, like if I didn't want the sustain pedal to work, I could turn it off. I don't know why you would not want a sustain pedal, but sometimes you don't, so you could turn that off. So we'll turn that back off. Over here we have the organ panel, on and off right there. Now with the organ, if you've ever played organ, you know that a real organ has these drawbars and stops that you pull. Well, these buttons function as those. And the more drawbars you use, the larger and fuller the organ's going to get, like Notre Dame Cathedral or something. And then the less you use, the more simple it becomes, maybe like a small country church with a very small organ. Okay, so with the organ, we also have a few other options and things we can consider and look at. The rotary speaker, some of our popular organs that we use in pop music, they have speakers that give them a more grungy tone. So you can turn that knob up and it kind of distorts the organ. I'm going to leave it down here, kind of where it was. We have this mode that allows our rotary speaker to turn. So if we were playing a B3 organ, I'm going to come over here because this organ's not giving me a ton of options. So D11 is where we have our basic Valley Ranch organ that we use most commonly. So over here you see slow and fast. When I click this button, if we had a rotating speaker, the speaker would spin. So turning it on fast would give us that wah 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 sound to the organ. Turning it on slow would slow it down. And every now and then we're playing a hymn, we want it completely still, we can stop it altogether. But we typically use it with just a little slow vibrato, and that's what is programmed into the rotary pedal. The pedal will give us the difference, but it'll go back and forth and toggle between slow and fast. So you don't have to push this button, but if you didn't have a pedal or the pedal weren't working, that's where you find it. That's the button you could use. Now, we talked about sometimes, let's go back to the live mode here. I'm in live 5. Sometimes we want to do two things at once. Maybe we want to play organ in our left hand and strings in our right hand. So we can split the keyboard. We'll talk about splitting the keyboard in our next session, but just real quick to tie into what we're talking about, if I've got the keyboard split, this split is at middle C. Okay, so now that I've got that keyboard split, let's say I wanted to play the organ. I could turn it on, off, on and on. If I use the shift, and I don't have two hands right now, but you see already, it's if I use shift, I can change that from the bottom half, which is low, to the top half, which is high. Now you see you have low, upper, and high because we really could split the organ 3 ways. I don't think I'm smart enough to play that many things at one time, but if you were and you wanted to do that, you could put 3 splits on the keyboard, so you could have maybe organ low, piano middle, and a pad up high, or whatever you wish. But right now it's set where the organ's in the top half. So if I wanted to add, maybe I wanted to add a pad, I'll come over here and I can turn the synthesizer on. Well, maybe I don't want the pad under the organ, I just want the pad in the low half. So I'm going to use my shift button. I go shift, and my first choice is low. I could go high or low, or everywhere, or low, or high, whatever I want, as long as I'm holding the shift button. So I can assign it where I want it. So that's a really nice thing that we can do with the new NORD, is we can add organ or piano kind of independently of whatever we've chosen. Like if we had chosen this, we could turn those on or off based on whatever we wanted.